Giving you the fastest updates on the terror attack on the Indian consulate in Herat in Afghanistan, very close to the Iran border. At 4 a.m. local time today, 4 attackers, heavily armed attackers, tried to breach the outer periphery of the Indian consulate compound where an explosion was heard. The Indian troops there of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police began engaging them, and one of the attackers was killed in this initial engagement. His body is still at the building's peripheral area. Seeing this, the other 3 fled into the neighbourhood. The other 3 militants took a child hostage and are now being challenged by local Afghan forces. Our Foreign Office there has said there is no threat or concern for the Indian consulate anymore at this stage. 4 attackers. That number may actually be 5, according to our correspondent, Jugal Purohit, who's feeding directly into this breaking news story, and he joins me live. Jugal, the most detailed picture that you've got us here on this initial engagement in which the ITBP boys apparently managed to kill one of the attackers at the initial stages.
That's right, Shiv. What I understand is from those people who are manning the ops room in the ITBP organization is that one of the attackers was killed in the initial attempt to breach the outer periphery of the consulate itself. In fact, his body is still there at the spot. And insofar as the others are concerned, now the number is being, if we're being informed, is perhaps 4 to 5.
Yes.
They are now being challenged by the local Afghan forces in the nearby vicinity to the consulate, which in effect means that our consulate, our personnel and the ITBP are all safe right now. And I must also mention that the ITBP sources have informed us that they have only recently reinforced their security in all the consulates, sending close to 80 best commandos that they have, and they've been distributed in all the consulates. So the ITBP in that sense is trying to paint a picture that they've been absolutely on the alert, and this is an attack which they've repulsed, and everyone is safe after that.
Jugal, are you getting any sense of any redeployment requirement at this time, or is the compound completely safe and fortified at this time?
Well, sir, what they're saying right now is that after the initial burst, when they were challenged, these people have fled. So as of now, the ITBP says that there is no real threat to either themselves or the compound or the consulate. Insofar as the redeployment is concerned, it's something that they will take a call on. But as I said, only very recently, 80 of the best ITBP commandos have been deployed in Afghanistan across all of our installations. This is a very, very recent move, and it only goes to show that perhaps a move of that type was very well planned, and it seems to have paid off.
Foreign Affairs correspondent Maha Siddiqui is live with me. She's in touch with her Foreign Office sources. Maha, the Foreign Secretary Sujata Singh personally monitoring the situation. As of now, the news appears to be good, that there are no casualties on the Indian side, and the security and integrity of the Indian consulate has been confirmed as well. But what are you picking up from your sources about what's happening right now as far as the monitoring is concerned?
Well, we understand at this point, and this is what the Indian Embassy in Kabul is confirming, is that one attacker was killed, and there are 2 other attackers who have apparently been surrounded by the Afghan police because they fled the area. The other attackers fled the area, and the Afghan police then took over. And these 2 other attackers have at this point been surrounded by Afghan police, is what we understand. More details are yet awaited on what is the outcome of that process now. But the Foreign Secretary is personally monitoring the situation, as Syed Akbaruddin was pointing out there. India is in constant touch with Afghanistan. As of now, they are heaving a sigh of relief because everyone in the consulate in Herat is safe.
That's really, really good news so far. Maha, do we have a sense of how many people stay at the consulate in that compound, Maha, at this time? How many people were there when the attack happened? Obviously, it was very early in the morning, but do we have a rough number?
Yes, the attack happened at around 4 in the morning, and it happened at the periphery. We understand that these attackers came from outside towards the periphery, and they were repulsed by the ITBP's personnel right at that stage itself. The staff inside the Herat consulate, I understand, would not be too many, especially since it was 4 in the morning.
Yes.
However, many of the attackers, when one of the attackers was killed, the other attackers fled. And the operations are still underway because the Afghan police took over charge as soon as these other attackers fled the periphery. They are now outside, and 2 of them have been surrounded, is the latest that we're getting from Kabul.
You know, Mahad, obviously the Foreign Office will not say anything officially at this point of time, but anything your sources in the External Affairs Ministry telling you off camera, off record about the timing of this attack? There are no coincidences in this sort of provocation.
Well, they are keeping mum about the immediate reason or the trigger for it. But of course, speculation has already started doing the rounds that this could have come after the invites that were sent out for the swearing-in ceremony of Narendra Modi. Many are also saying that this could perhaps be an indication or a way of scuttling the grounds that are being made between India and Pakistan at this stage. Because remember, Nawaz Sharif has also been invited for the swearing-in, although there has been no confirmation from that end. Moreover, what we hear at this point, and these are totally unconfirmed reports right now, Shiv, people speculating that the attack could have been done by Taliban. But however, there is no official word, let me point out.
Yes.
As of now, India is not speculating on the motive of the attack.
Okay, India is not speculating on the motive of the attack. Conspiracy theories will do the rounds given the circumstances and the time at which this is happening. Remember, later today, Nawaz Sharif, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, is to provide clarity on whether he will be attending Narendra Modi's swearing in as Prime Minister on Monday. But sources are telling headlines today at this time that the attack is being looked at as the ISI's way to test India's resolve. Like Maha just pointed out, no speculation officially on what this attack was about, but sources are telling our correspondents that intelligence agencies had flagged it up. They had officially feared that Indian interests in Afghanistan were likely to be targeted. Provocations of this kind were likely to happen at this transitory phase for the Indian government, when attention may possibly have been diverted. Well, clearly not. The Indo-Tibetan Border Police was completely on the ball there. They repulsed this brazen, dastardly attack in Herat. Those are pictures providing you a top view of the exact location in Herat where the consulate is situated. As you can see, it's a heavily built up area where these attackers have come from, and the place where they're hiding right now is not very far from there. They've been completely surrounded by Afghan forces at this point of time, while the ITBP is deployed in fortifying the compound itself. Hamza Amir, our correspondent in Islamabad, is live with me now. I want to get a word in from him. Hamza, what are you picking up from your sources about this? I can tell you that there is no official speculation here, but a lot of questions are bound to be raised about the timing of this particular attack.
Well, yes, Shiv, it is actually, it has come at a very important time. One, Pakistan is due to decide if the Prime Minister is going to go to India or not. Secondly, there is already tensions not only on the line of control with India, with Pakistan, there are also tensions on the line of control with Afghan forces. Three, there have been drone strikes on the Afghan borderline, right, bordered next to Pakistan's Kunar province. That is basically very, very major concern for Pakistan. Thirdly, there is an upsurge inside Afghanistan going on that is anti-government, because that upsurge is actually being organized by the pro-Taliban militants who are the former Taliban leaders, and it is called Rahe-Nijat Afghanistan. They have actually called on for imposition of Islamic ideology back in power in Afghanistan, and they have also called on the people to join in. Thirdly, there is NATO withdrawal going on in Afghanistan.
That's right.
In which Afghan National Army and Afghan National Police is supposed to be equipped enough to tackle such situations and tackle attacks from Taliban militants, which actually I think in this case it exposes the fact that they are still not well trained enough to actually tackle a situation, because you've got at least 4 or 5 militants who are attacking the Indian consulate for the past 3.5 hours.
Yes.
And yet, only one terrorist has been reported killed. So it is a very major concern that not only security of Indian officials, but all the other foreign officials in Afghanistan will be at high risk as soon as the withdrawal of the NATO forces starts from Afghanistan.
Hamza, at this point of time, as clarity is awaited on Nawaz Sharif's visit, there's likely to be a lot of media speculation and perhaps a little later in the day some official word also on the potential ISI hand in this particular provocation. So that's going to be tricky for both India and Pakistan to navigate, given that it's a sensitive time when the Prime Minister of Pakistan is still to decide on whether he's going to be present in India on Monday.
You're right. And also, in Pakistan, analysts are saying that as time is being taken by the government to decide, the longer they take, the more probability of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif of not going to India actually, gains light. And they are actually now thinking that if there would have been an approval from the Pakistan side, it would have come pretty soon, pretty quick. But now, because they are in a fix on domestic issues, and now this incident is also, pointing fingers back onto Pakistan again because of the line of control tensions. So I think it will be a very difficult decision for Nawaz Sharif. At the same time, it is also being said and talked about in Pakistan that he might actually not come to India. He might send someone across from Pakistan to represent India, because now they've got examples of Bangladesh in front of them as well.
And while we wait for that decision, I want to bring in Editor Strategic Affairs Gaurav Sawant, who's been breaking information on this big developing story from early this morning. Gaurav, the ISI angle, that can't be sidestepped at this point of time, even though there's no official word, no official speculation, obviously, on the details, and a very short statement coming out from the Foreign Office. What are you picking up from your sources about the manner in which intelligence agencies are seeing this, given, like you just reported, that they had warned about provocations of this kind happening at this very transitory phase in Indian government?
Shiv, the timing of this attack is very curious and very well thought out.
Yes.
The government is in transition. Dr. Manmohan Singh's government is handing over. Narendra Modi's government is yet to be sworn in. So while Manmohan Singh remains the caretaker prime minister, any decision that needs to be taken till the time of swearing in is Manmohan Singh's decision. But at this point of time, this is an attack to test, as sources in the intelligence community are telling us, is to test Narendra Modi's resolve and perhaps clear the pitch before the so-called handshake between Nawaz Sharif and Narendra Modi. One, will Nawaz Sharif actually come? And two, will that handshake take place? Will the environment be vicious? Now, given that before he was appointed as the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi had very clearly said that you cannot have talks with Pakistan amidst the gunfire. Goli bari ke beech baatcheet nahi ho sakti, was Narendra Modi's exact words. Now, how will he talk to Pakistan? Now, what my sources in the BJP are telling me, even if Nawaz Sharif came, there weren't going to be no substantive talks. It was only the atmospherics that would have been important. Break the ice, create an environment for future talks should Pakistan create that right environment. And sources say, as you well know, Shiv, 2 attacks on Indian embassy and major attacks. One where we lost a defense attaché and a senior foreign service officer, and the second attack, Shiv, where we lost brave Indian Army doctors and other personnel who were saving civilian lives in Afghanistan. Both traced back to the Haqqani network and to the ISI, not just by Indian intelligence agencies, but by intelligence agencies of the United States, France and Germany.
Well, this is a very big story. We're going to have to see just how it actually feeds into that decision on Nawaz Sharif's arrival in the capital. Gaurav and Hamza, continue to track that story. We're going to stay live with you.